Where does pride come from? What's the base root of pride? And why is it mishandled or handled in the way that it is? When man was conceived by God, God conceived him as a free moral agent, one that would make decisions for himself, one that would make the worship mode in front of God, worshiping God as the master of the universe, creator of all things, a willing thing. He didn't want machines. He didn't want robots. He didn't want computers. He wanted people who would enjoy his goodness because they wanted to, not because they had to, or to worship him in the same way. But the Bible says there was a little problem with pride, and it was found in the creation of Lucifer, one of the archangels. And that was that pride could mutate. Pride could not only be benign, it could be malignant. And the Bible says he was a beautiful archangel. Wisdom was his for the taking. It was his. The beauty and the power to rule, the power for decision to rule, was his in abundance until pride was found in thee. Now, if you put a chemical together, a base compound, you must put the individual parts in one by one. And you never know how it's going to come out until everything is together. And I think this is what happened with God. You say, well, God can see all things. Yeah, but this was the beginning of all things. This was not, there was no future to look forward to. There was no past to look back to. There was just the act of doing. I am sure that God did not create Lucifer to rebel and take a third of the angels with him. But pride became a mixture that could be very dangerous in a man that makes his own decisions. Now, how much pride do you find on Skid Row, where the alcoholics stay? Or how much pride do you find in an alcoholic? There might be false pride, but their decisions are pretty much nonplus. Well, they don't make them because they have no pride. So pride can be a blessing, but it can also be a burden or a danger to us if we let it get away. Saul was very humble. And God told him, he said, when I chose you to become king out of Israel, out of your tribe Benjamin, you were the most humble, and I'm paraphrasing, yes. But he said, you were so humble. And he said, then the power took over. You became king. And if something didn't happen to raise your stature in the eyes of the people, then you did something. And generally it was sin. It was wrong. It was something I asked you not to do. And there had been people that did that all through the Bible. The Corinthian church was full of people who did that. The Apostle Paul was talking to the prophets of the Corinthian church. And he said, if there be a prophecy and another one has something revealed, let the prophet that's speaking give way and let the other speak. But in all cases, don't speak two or three at a time because nobody's understanding it. And there seems to be a lot of, Satan takes a lot of liberty in working with our pride, whether it be in the church, whether it be in our workplace, whether it be in our school. And we always need to prove that we're something that we think we are and may be. But we always have to prove that we're someone else. The old facade thing. You know, you're one thing in public and you're one thing in private. Well, if you talk to my wife, you can tell, and you can ask her, and she can tell you that I'm just exactly what I am out there in the public as I am in private. But pride takes a man over. Pride works in conjunction with power. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I am not talking about any politicians, believe me. I think they've shown that abundantly in this country and over in the United States. That pride grows. Pride hatches like the moth larva, and it becomes a worm, and it becomes very placid and docile, and it spends its days eating and just staying there. But in eating, it's feeding itself, isn't it? In recognizing that you have pride and babying it or working with it instead of just saying, okay, that's something that I'm going to have to control. We let it control us. And the caterpillar that is going to become a butterfly puts itself into a cocoon. It separates itself from people until it can build the dream that it's going to be. And then, when it comes out, it dries out its beauty, and it takes flight, never to be placid or docile again. My friends, that's pride. And that's the pride that God hates. Pride feeds arrogance. Arrogance feeds sin. Sin feeds death. God bless you. May my words be at least a tool of meditation for the growing Christian. God bless you.